What is up, guys? It's been a day. Let me tell you. We'll lower the music real quick. So of course, by you clicking on this, you kind of know what happened, right? I made Twitch partner. I got the email today. I honestly thought it was going to be probably another denial, because I've heard, applying for Twitch partner, you have to do it like so many times. And this was the second time that I applied. First time I got denied. And it's because I didn't really read the rules. And Roar told me, dude, don't apply as soon as you get it. And me being an idiot, did it, and I got rejected. But I waited an extra 30 days, applied, and I got it. I don't know. This is all, like, of course, spontaneous, right? If you've ever watched me on Twitch, you know I do spontaneous streams all the time. But I do. I really want to thank everybody, who watches me. Roar in chat. I mean, he's been subbed to me. He did a second tier 3 sub by mistake, but I really appreciate it. I all the content creators who's helped me, and Roar. I mean, I just want to say Roar because he's helped me a lot when it comes to my audio, to my video. He's pretty much been like our kind of tech guy. Jamie is another person in the Ashes space who's also kind of like a tech guy as well. But I relied heavily on these individuals to make my streams better, to make the flow better. And I don't think I would be where I'm at if not for the help of the community. And the people who've watched me, I think of like Firebrand, I think of Nemesis, I think of MF Crackers, just all the people that I've known have watched me, Rockda, from like the beginning of my streaming career. Like, the Wagsy, who's always in my chat. Wagsy's probably the most supportive person in the Ashes community too. He's always watching everybody. Same thing with Roar. The Joe Rogan of Ashes. I appreciate that, man. And tomorrow, hopefully, I am going to have my 1v1 with Alec of Ethereum. So that'll hopefully be a good conversation. We'll see, what happens there. But ultimately, I'm very grateful.
Roar donated $50. Big congrats, bro.
Dude, you did not have to do that, man. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate it. Well, so I told so we have like a content creator Discord, and they were the first to know. As soon as I got the email, I was like, but literally also what happened is even bigger news. The second bit of news. My wife and I are pregnant. Totally not planned. Totally not planned. But I'm still in shock about this because the due date is in July of next year, which is my birthday. It's my birthday month. A lot of birthdays in July in my family, so it's quite cool that the due date is in July. The original plan was to try to get pregnant next September or October for a July baby in 2026, because third phase, or phase 3 of Ashes, is going to happen May 1st. So I really don't know how, or the powers that be, how I'm going to be able to pull that off, because if you've never been a dad, the first couple of months of having a kid is the most time consuming parts like you'll ever have. I mean, I think the first year is just freaking hard in general. Yeah, a lot of coffee. yeah, just it's hard. Dude couldn't pull out of a driveway. Oh my god. My birthday is July 22nd. Mine's the 11th. So 7-11, I've had that birthday, you know, since I've been born, and so I've always considered that to be like a lucky number of mine. And my mom's is in July, and so I don't know, it's just kind of special. And what's kind of funny is it could actually be around my birthday, which is really crazy. Plan a baby around Ashes is a serious dedication, dude. But honestly, this might end up being a great thing, because by the time the game launches, it's probably gonna be in like 2027, maybe even 2028. Like, both my current baby, who's 1, and this new baby will be old enough that I'll be good. Like, I will be good. 2 girls, 1 musket. Dude, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, that's gonna be crazy. So like I said, this whole day was just like one big, you know, news bomb after another. And ultimately, like, Twitch partner, you know, people always like to downplay Twitch partner, and it's not a big deal. And to me, it's more of the achievement, you know, the fact that my audience has grown from nothing to now over 1,500 followers in a game that hasn't even launched yet is ridiculous to me. You know, my YouTube channel, everything I'm planning to do there, Twitch trainer's harder than making a baby. That's true. That is very true. I can attest to that 100%. There'll be a crafting material farming age. Oh, absolutely. Proctees, dude, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you, man. So yeah, maybe this is a blessing in disguise. You know, at the end of the day, like, I want to test Ashes, and I'm, you know, right now, like, I kind of took a break this current weekend because I had a lot of Christmas parties to go to. I have a wedding this coming Thursday that I have to go to. So December is kind of like a pretty packed month for me. But I've also been prepping a YouTube series. So I'm not going to spoil anything, but I will say this is going to be the hardest video. This is gonna be the hardest thing I've ever done YouTube wise. It's gonna be very ambitious, but I really love the idea. I have a lot of amazing content creators that are actually going to help me with this, and I think if it's pulled off correctly, it's going to be really fucking cool. So that's coming not anytime soon. Probably I'm hoping I can put out the first episode in January, maybe the end of January. I don't know, but I want to take my time on this because this is going to be a very special project. So that's going to be really cool. But yeah, I don't even know, man. Like, it's crazy. It's so crazy. Like, to see a blue or a purple check mark by my name. And also I do want to give shout outs because there's been, you know, Royer on Twitch has been killing it. Like, I think the next people that I definitely think are in line is, of course, Jamie, Roar, Phantom. Those 3 individuals have been killing it on Twitch. Phantom waking up super early in the morning, Roar streaming for like 12 hours almost every day of like the Alpha 2. It's just crazy. So I definitely know that, you know, it could have happened to any of us. Like, you know, maybe, you know, I just got lucky or something. I don't know. But maybe some people make babies by mistake. Don't think anyone made Twitch partner by mistake. That's a very good point. That's a very, very, very good point. I mean, again, you know, the community that Ashes of Creation has, I just feel so grateful to be a part of this. the fact that we have very dedicated people, the fact that we also have just as much dedicated developers that I can actually reach out to, talk to, not get ghosted by, reply. It's just one of the coolest feelings, man. Like, it's really just awesome. Congrats on Switch Marjorie. Thank you so much, Darkman. I really, really appreciate that, man. So yeah, I didn't, again, like I didn't really have like anything kind of planned, but I know my boy Royer came out with the video today for some newbies. My plan today was just to kind of chill, but here, hold on. Where's the video? I hate when you like refresh your YouTube, how like those recommendations just go away. Like, why does it do that? Here we go. And Roar's almost at 2K freaking subscribers, man. Holy shit. That's just nuts. That's nuts. Sorry, I'm getting pinged on Discord. People are like, don't look at it, it's shy. Here, hold on. Let's watch this video, guys. Let's watch some Ashes shit. And my boy Roar, we all know the kind of quality of videos he makes, so it'll get me back into the Ashes realms of talking, because my brain it needs to be reset. I need to get reset back to Ashes. Not to derail you, but is there any link or anything for the tournament happening, like info or specific sign up rules? Yes. So the video where if you go to my YouTube page here, let me do it real quick. Okay, go here, my videos. I think it was the duping drama. That's when I mentioned it. Yeah. So if you want to sign up for, that's the Google Doc link to sign up for the 1v1. You have to sign up on there by the 9th of December. Rules, I believe also Crix did a video himself of explaining like the rules and everything like that. So you should be good there. All right, let me higher up the volume real quick. All right, let's get it.
YouTube, I am Roar, and I'm back today with a new Ashes of Creation video. Now, I have been playing Alpha 2 for well over a month now, and it's been a blast. But a major question that I get all the time is, hey, I just got the game, I'm completely lost. Please help. And, you know, it's no secret that the new player experience in Alpha 2 is currently, well, it's trash. So I'm here.
It's kind of funny. Like I haven't been asked that, but I haven't been streaming for the past couple of, like this weekend I didn't stream, but when I was streaming, I didn't really get a lot of people like kind of confused. And maybe that's because a lot of the first people, we already know what we were getting ourselves into. And now with like these key package people that came up, I think it was on November 9th. I think a lot of those people, some of them knew exactly what they were going to expect. Others probably did not. So I think it's, you know, I could say that people want some kind of a little bit of a tutorial from like a, you know, like someone who's veteran, you know what I mean? And again, like I've been playing the alpha like crazy, you know, even off stream. Roar's been playing it like crazy. So it's like we both have a very good understanding and idea of like how to play Ashes of Creation at this point.
Here today to be your guiding light in the darkness, to lead you on a path to greatness. There is a lot to take in here, so please pull up your learning pants and buckle in. Let's go. So you just logged into your brand new level 1 character in Ashes of Creation Alpha 2. You'll wake up in this cathedral looking place and you'll notice one of the divine gateways. These are the great portals that brought us from Sanctus, the world where we've been living for the last couple thousand years, back to our ancestral homeworld, Vera. Now, that's a whole lot of lore and I'm not about to get into that, so let's move along. So the two things here that I want to say, first and foremost, this is an alpha. So the new player experience has received no polished. It is not very intuitive, it is not very helpful, and the entire thing is likely to change a whole bunch of times between now and the official launch, whenever that is. So as the new player experience changes, I will update this guide to reflect those changes. And second, Ashes of Creation is much different from World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy Online. It is not a theme park game that's, going to conveniently direct you from one quest to the next, one zone, one area to the next. You're going to have to explore, find stuff, learn from other players through word of mouth. You won't be able to just follow a golden quest line from level 1 to level 25. That does not exist in this game. So
it will exist to an extent, like once the game is more fleshed out, but I don't know. And this is the kind of thing of like through testing, right? Is how lucrative is that golden, that yellow brick road, so to speak, going to be? I think it's going to be good if you're mixing and matching the quests with like world events, with grinding, professions. Like I want it to be kind of like a variety bag. If you like grinding, then you could focus on that. But if you like questing or the event system, that should also be just as lucrative, in my opinion. I think, again, it all depends on the kind of time investments that these quests offer. Because at the end of the day, Steven said this, I several times, where this game is going to lean more towards the grindy side. And if we all seen the experience needed to get to the next level, it's definitely going to be one of those things where I don't think quests are going to be that lucrative, where you're just going to be like bumping levels like there's no tomorrow. But I think it'll be a nice, if there is quests, what I kind of want it to be is like, look, I'm not a fan of grinding. I'm just going to be totally honest. Me being in a singular spot for 6 hours killing the same mobs is just not fun for me after a while. Like, it's just not. I'm going to be honest. But I need to say that I don't mind doing it because it's a means to an end, right? You're doing it to level. You're doing it to get some gear and grind out your level. But I need some change of scenery. And that's what I want quests to do. Quests, I want to feel like I'm going on an adventure. I love being out in the world of Vera. I love seeing the kind of different events that are out there too. So if you can have those different things as like a part of the new player acquisition, that's going to be so good, in my opinion. Because again, at the end of the day, I don't mind grinding, but do I want to do that for 12 or for like 6 to 12 hours? We grinded one time for almost 12 hours. Like, it was nuts. And I think it's like you just almost get brain dead after a while,
With that out of the way, you'll notice your first quest. These little yellow book icons are quest markers in Ashes of Creation. You hit F by default to talk to the quest giver, and you'll kind of, click through the dialogue.
And I've mentioned this before, but I will say it again. I think this should not be an open book. I think if you want to differentiate your quests, if you haven't accepted the quest, this should be a closed book. Like a closed book, like if it was going to be opened, right? So it's closed. So that it indicates to you that this is the start of something. When it's open, that means that you're still on this quest. There's still more to do, right? That's kind of like how I believe the quest should be with markers, right? I think it's a very simple change UI wise, but for me, it would indicate, oh, that's a new quest for me to do because it's a closed book. I haven't started it. But if I see another person with an open book, oh, that's something I'm already doing. Like that. It's just a little small thing, but I think that would go a long way for people.
dialogue, and you'll be given a medallion, and they'll ask you to slay 3 goblins on your way down the hill to either Lionhold or Samia's Hope. In this guide, we're headed to Lionhold. But before you walk out of the cathedral, near the front door, you'll notice some weapons lying around. A shield, 1- and 2-handed swords, a bow, scepter, spellbook, etc. Grab them all so you can try them all out. Go straight out the door and walk straight up to the first ledge in front of you. You'll also find a wand. So to open up your inventory, you will hit I by default.
Please, Intrepid, put a short bow in the starting area. I don't think it's that contentious, right? Like, why can't you just put a short bow? A crude short bow. You know, just like the very beginning start. That way, you know, and again, I still advocate for you to really change the short bow and long bow. I think you should make those changes with the range distance, with the crit modifiers, all that stuff. But yeah, like add a short bow to the starting area. Like let people play the thing they want to play. At the end of the day, I personally think all 16 weapons, like, you know, come phase 3, when all the weapon types are out, all 16 starter weapons should be available at the cathedral, in my opinion. Like 100%. Let me see. I definitely missed all those weapon pickups on my first character. I think a lot of people did. It wasn't really clear. And again, I don't know if people want like the glittery sparkles to kind of shimmer and be like, oh, what's these shimmers? And you're like, oh, these are weapons. But I honestly feel like whenever you accept that quest, that guy should tell you, pick your weapon of choice and go out and slay those goblins. And once that happens, you can put, you know, glitters all over the weapon, right? Because it's saying, hey, go choose another weapon, because each class starts you off with one weapon, but you still need a ranged weapon too. And there's some, like a mage, you start off with a wand, but not with an actual melee weapon. So that first quest, in my opinion, should indicate to you to pick up another weapon. These are all the weapons that you have available to you. I also feel that, it would even be, in my opinion, better if it gave you a list as to, like, if you were a mage, be like, hey, you don't have anything in your melee slot. What would you like? And here's like a list of the weapons. And that way, if you say, oh, I want a one-handed sword, you know, one-handed sword and shield, or let's say a two-handed sword, you click on it, and then only that weapon glitters up. So that way you can actually find it, like in the cathedral, you know, like that would be cool in my opinion. So I don't know. There's a lot of things that I think they need to do for the new player acquisition. The less confused people can be, the better. That's what I always say. Mace 2, exactly.
And now you'll see all the weapons that you just picked up. Right clicking them will equip them and you can try them out. Hit H for your character screen by default and you'll see you have a primary and secondary or ranged weapon slot. Hitting the tilde key, you know, the little button to the left of the number 1 key on your keyboard by default will swap between these weapons. You can swap your ranged weapon and your main hand weapon back and forth whenever you like, even in combat. Now, Ashes of Creation is not your traditional MMO where a warrior wears plate armor, a mage uses wands. In this game, everyone can wear everything. They can wield every weapon. You're not beholden to the obvious armor, weapon, and class combinations. You want to be a spellbook wielding ranger? Sure. A plate wearing mage? You can. But be aware, there is not currently enough gear and or stat options to fully support some of these more unique builds, but feel free to play around. Once you have your desired loadout, you'll notice the goblins. Now it's time for combat. Now, combat in Ashes of Creation is a hybrid system, meaning it has both tab target like World of Warcraft and action camera mode with soft lock on, similar to, you know, Elder Scrolls Online or Guild Wars. Hitting Z by default will swap between these camera modes. Lock on with tab target puts a little red ring on the ground to highlight your target, while the little red dot over the target's head shows you who you are currently soft locked onto in the action camera mode. Now that you have a grasp on,
I'm just gonna say it, the action UI needs a lot of work. I know some people really enjoy it. I just think, look, it's not terrible, but there's so much that I had to do to make it like palatable for me. I play a fighter. I wanted to get into action mode. I just figured it would just be better for me to stick to tab. Like, I'm a World of Warcraft person, right? But I went into the game switching to action, and I'm like, this feels gross. Like, there was so much about it that I just did not like. So I don't like the fact that, like, when I'm in action mode, like, my mouse is tied to my camera. Like, that is just so disorienting for me. But I don't know what I would want in place of that. But yeah, there's just certain things about the action mode that I can't wrap my head around. It's not my thing. Mock dude, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you. Welcome to the stream, dude.
Targeting, let's talk about basic attack. Ashes utilizes a basic attack activated by the Q button by default. Hitting Q in tab target or left clicking in action camera will cause your basic attack to fire off. If you do not press these buttons, your character does nothing. However, in the settings, there is an option to enable auto attack, so your character will basic attack on its own. Some players like it one way, some players like it
dude, having dodge be a double tap would be so good. Holy shit. I didn't even think about that. But for all the options that they have, dude, I already have, like, for me, E is not shield. E for me, like, as a fighter, is my dodge. And it never freaking saves. It's so annoying. Like, for some reason, T is my dodge, and I always have to freaking set it back to E, but sometimes I forget. It's just, you know, like, for me as a fighter, I don't need a shield with my two-handed sword. Like, I need a dodge. But if I had the option to double click my my right click or my left click or just some button, oh man, that'd be so good. That's so good. You guys have a problem with losing your cursor in game? So there are some moments that I find myself, like, not knowing where my cursor is, but it's like, it's rarely happened to me personally. Rarely. I know some people have advocated for, like, different colors, bigger cursor, you know, whatever. Again, I think for how passionate the UI team is, I think all the options are going to be there eventually. So I'm not really too worried. Gear scaling is broken. Watch someone with level 10. Legendary full set almost solo firebrand. Yeah, I think right now there's a lot of tuning that needs to happen with gear. That's going to happen. That's why I'm not really too worried about numerical stuff, because numerical stuff is going to be radically different throughout phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. So this is just something I'm not particularly worried about. In any instance, AOC needs to drop the guild rewards program. The ability to abuse it is just way too easy without knowing about the bug in the war reward system. I opened 38 rewards, leveled from 12 at 20% to 16 at 90%. I reported the issue and fully expect a rollback. Are you talking about the guild? Like, what do you mean the guild rewards program? Is that for the guild war? Like, when you win a guild war? Like, I want to be clear. R is dodge, E is interact button, but who has C is sprint. Dude, yeah, there's just so many. I've been using more keys than I ever have in WoW that I'm using in Ashes. I use so many keys in Ashes. It's freaking insane. The guild war, yeah. And again, all that stuff is going to be attuned to. Like I said, like anything numerical, any kind of rewards, like they're looking at that data, they're seeing what is applicable for a reward. And if it is certain things, again, like I don't think the characters need to be wiped or rolled back. Like, who cares at the end of the day? Like, we're in December, guys. Like, December 20th is just a couple of weeks away, and then we're getting a full wipe, and then we're getting a whole huge ass update. Because again, if you look at what's in store for phase 2, it's going to be a huge ass update. I'm really excited for the different weapon types personally. I really hope two-handed axe and two-handed mace are there at the start. Oh my god, I'm hoping and praying, especially as a fighter, man. I think that's gonna be really cool. But yeah, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm not really too worried about the whole numerical values. I'm not really too worried about gear right now because there's so much that's going to change. So much.
the other way. They want to control their basic attack manually. I personally use tab target camera mode with auto attacks enabled to basically simulate World of Warcraft's combat style. This is how I am most comfortable, but feel free to play around with it and find your style. I should also note that your character can actively block attacks depending on your equipped weapon by hitting E by default. You can dodge roll in any direction you like by hitting the control button by default, and you can sprint in and out of combat by hitting C by default. All of these actions consume stamina, the yellow bar underneath your health bar, and they help you to kind of give you some player agency over your character. Also in Ashes of Creation, every class uses mana to cast their abilities, and they all come with a third class specific resource. For instance, on the tank, it's called Courage.
Lestat, I'm going to say that, I hope I didn't butcher that, but please leave that feedback in the forums. Like, let them know. And I think there's already, I want to say there is actually a Guild Wars reward forum post already up there. But again, I'm very, anytime you're going to have an alliance system, right? Anytime that you're going to be able to get a huge mega guild and have like 8 guilds, 10 guilds, and then there's going to be guild rewards that hey, you guys are going to compete against each other, you're going to lose on purpose, you're going to win, you're going to get this, and then rinse repeat this process, get a whole bunch of shit and level boost or whatever the case is. Like, I think that's a bad time, right? Personally, I think that's a bad time. At the end of the day, I think personally Guild Wars and the reward for winning a Guild War should just be reputation based. It should be like merit based in a sense, like you're doing this to like say like we beat you. Like I personally wouldn't care for any game rewards, like in-game rewards, like gold, XP. Like if we're going to do a Guild War on you, it's for us to kick your ass. I don't need anything for me kicking your ass. The satisfaction of me winning is enough. That's just me personally. And if you lose, well, that sucks, but you didn't lose anything. You know what I mean? Because again, anytime you start putting some in-game rewards attached to it, that you can basically go to war with your own guild and then just like go back and forth like that, it is going to be abused at the end of the day. I don't play Discord. AOC needs to communicate issues in game also. Well, if you use /bug, you can leave. Like, I've heard people say that I've just left my feedback in the bug section, and again, they read it. So, you know, I would just say do whatever you can to make sure that the developers hear your concerns. That's all I'm saying.
And like all the other classes, it's tracked right here around your class icon on your class unit frame. Stupid. Now it's time to fight those goblins. So Ashes is harkening back to a earlier time in MMORPG gaming where classes, they needed to rely on each other. Not every class can heal, deal damage, survive the hits, etc. So in the event you need to regain some health after combat, you can press X by default to sit down and heal. You can also speed it up by consuming food for faster health and mana regeneration.
Also in your
you can buy the basic rations from a vendor for only a few copper, so use them as much as you like. There are also health and mana salves that you can get later from specific vendors. Now, the quest only calls for you to defeat 3 goblins, but I like to hit level 2 before I proceed down the hill. Once you hit level 2, you'll be awarded your first skill point. By hitting K, by default, you can bring up your player's skills menu. You have your class skills, weapon skills, and stamina skills. Your class skills are how you unlock your abilities. You'll earn 1 skill point each time you level up, and you can distribute them however you wish. Don't worry about guides and best builds and all that shit. This is an alpha, and currently respecking these skill points costs you nothing, and they can be done whenever you like. So try everything, play around with it, find what you like best. The next skill tree is your weapon skills. As you use your weapons, you'll become more proficient in them, allowing you to earn skill points and make your basic attack stronger. These are all passive, but there are some really nice buffs scattered throughout the trees. So again, play around with it and find what works best for you. The last tree.
I really like the weapon tree now that I've actually had a chance to really play with it. I just think it needs to be a little bit more fleshed out. But I think as a foundation, I remember talking a lot of shit about it in the past. I kind of really like the weapon trees, and especially because you're actually getting both the interaction from your main weapon and your ranged simultaneously. That's kind of cool. So I don't know if it's going to stay that way, but I'm just saying I like the interaction so far.
Tree is the stamina tree. This empowers your blocks, your dodges, and sprinting. You kind of just choose whatever you feel you will benefit from the most first in this tree, because by the time you hit level 25, you're gonna have every single thing in here unlocked anyways, so just take what you need, what you feel is most important first. Now that you're level 2, head down the hill and look at this. Welcome to Lionhold.
Dude, I'm sorry, dude.
As you head further,
like, I just, the game to me just looks so fucking good. Like, are there moments where you look at the game and it's like there's certain parts that look janky or whatever? Yes, it's an alpha, okay? But there are many portions of the game where I still when I go in the game, I'll just get lost for like 2 seconds and be like, holy shit, that looks awesome. Like, and again, Planetor said this, Steven has said this. This is the shittiest this game is ever going to look. It's only going to go up from here. It's wild. Right now, I'm actually planning to do a video because Unreal Engine 5.5 is on the verge of coming out, and Unreal Sensei, who's a YouTuber that I love watching, broke down all of the 5.5 features, and there are some really cool, like, if Intrepid upgrades to 5.5, we all know the skybox. If you paid attention to the sky when it's daytime, it looks a little rough, right? Like, it doesn't, you see the clouds like shaking and moving and going all crazy, and then it's all still and it looks all serene, and then it does all the shaking. Like, as an example, in 5.5, they've completely upgraded the entire skybox in Unreal. It looks fucking amazing. If you haven't watched Unreal Sensei's newest video on Unreal 5.5, you need to go and fucking watch it. Actually, you know what? We'll fucking watch it after this, because I think it's just, if you're an Ashes person, you should be excited for 5.5. So we're going to watch it.
to Lionhold.
Basin, dude, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that, man.
As you head further down, you'll find a guard who wants to know about your medallion. He will spit shine it for you. I don't really know the significance of this, but he'll do it. Once you round the corner, you'll find the town official. He will want to see your medallion and ask if you have attuned yourself to the Ember Spring. He will ask you to do so if you have not yet done it. So head north out of town and up the hill to your left, you'll find the Ember Spring. These are basically the graveyards of the game, and they are displayed as a little archway.
Oh, thanks, Master Chief. I appreciate that, man. Like I said, it's been a wacky day.
On your map, you'll want to attune to these Ember Springs as you explore around Vera, as when you die, you will respawn at the nearest one. You can also make a single one of them your home point. This kind of serves as a pseudo Hearthstone that you can only access on death. If you die somewhere and you don't feel like recovering your body, you can choose to respawn at the nearest Ember Spring or your home point. So now that you've attuned yourself, turn around, head back into town, and you can now turn in the quest and get some experience and some cash. Now you need a mount. If you head deeper into town, you'll find Trades Manager Hernet. He is going to introduce you to trade skills. Accept his quest to chop down a tree. He will give you an axe, and now you can head around the back of the building, chop down the tree. Now take that lumber over to the milling station and make it into timber.
I feel like this is not where it is anymore. Did they add it back in the original spot now? I was going like all the way south here because I thought that's where they moved everything to. Did they move it back? They keep moving that shit, bro. I didn't even know. I was going all the way back here because I thought that's where we're doing it now. That's wild.
Now that you have the timber, take it back to Harnett and he will give you some zinc shards and tell you to make a pickaxe and go mine some granite. So head over to the mining tool station right near him and craft your pickaxe so you can now go into the corner and collect some granite.
And again, all of these quests, you know, like have like the circles on them. So it's like you can't get lost. And I don't know why, but there were certain people that were really hating the hand holding. Bro, why would you want a player within the first 5 or 10 minutes of this game to be lost? Are you wanting just like the sweatiest of the sweaty to like get in this game? Like, I don't understand why people want. Because again, look at the YouTube video we're watching. If it wasn't in the game to instruct you, people will then just watch a fucking video. So you're still getting your hand held. So what does it matter? Like, oh, it just irks me when people are like that, man. Yes, got to get rid of the I quit moments. Exactly.
Now head over to the stonemasonry station and you will craft your brick with the granite that you just harvested. Now, once you have your brick, you can turn it back into Harnett. Now he wants you to go collect some snowdrop. Head north a bit and you will find the little white flowers. Pick those up, head to the alchemy station and turn them in for powder.
Well, yeah, Tomac, I completely agree with that. Like, I think the first like 5 levels should be quite handholdy. Again, like I would not mind that at all, because at the end of the day, it is going to be more of a sandbox, but it's like a sand park at the end of the day. Like, it's going to have the mixture of like the theme park elements, but a lot of the sand park elements. So, or sandbox elements. So to me, I just don't want this game to be so just like confusing. And that's the thing. Like, every time I look at this game, I told, you know, Planetdorf this, I told every developer that could hear my voice, because I know whenever you're creating something, you have that knowledge of where it all is or why it's like that or whatever. You got to dump all that shit out of your brain and you got to think, how would a first time player react to this? Is this confusing? How are these steps? To me, as an example, I don't like the fact that whenever you go do the chain quest, that goes and the medallion or whatever, and then you go attune, and then you go back and it completes the quest. I think after you complete the quest, that same dude should basically direct you to start the mount quest. But the fact that it doesn't do that, you're not going to understand as a first time player this quest marker. You're not going to understand that this book is a quest. You're not going to. I'm sorry. Like, every person I've talked to does not know that. So there are so many people that will ask, like, well, how did you get a horse? Oh, you didn't do that quest back there? What quest? So if you just would have chained or just allowed that person to then give you another quest, if you want to stop the quest at the attunement point, I get that. I understand that. Fine. But you need to have that guy direct you to the artisan to go start that quest. That's the thing. So let me see. Yes, I just found out today that the starting tool is actually listed the mats needed if you click on the list in the menu. Oh, wow. Okay. The guide is definitely good, but shouldn't be necessary. Well, it shouldn't be necessary, but I think at this point, the fact that Roar made this is evident of how the new player acquisition is still confusing for people. And it's like we were talking earlier, like Tomac was saying, the less confusing points that we can rub out of the game, the better. We don't want people to be confused. We want people to have a good experience, a fun experience. And you can't have fun if you don't know what to do next, right? So you got to handhold them a little bit. It's okay. It's the first 10 minutes of the fucking game. Like, you'll be okay. I missed the weapons on the character start. Missed the gear vendor bag and Lionhold. Missed the storage bank. Surprised I found the horse cast. Yeah, it's wacky, man. Like, and again, I understand. Like, for all of us, like, we're over here typing in chat, and there were people that were saying like, oh, well, that's what gets people talking, and you know, you have to interact with people, and yet, yes, I love that. I love that people are interacting, but it shouldn't be for things that should be blatantly obvious to find in the game. Like, that's my thing. Like, there needs to be things that, especially in the starting area, to get acquainted. You got to start getting people acquainted to what a quest marker is in this game. This quest marker is very different from any MMO I've ever played. Most quest markers are kind of like WoW. You know what I mean? That's what they are. Like, because they're all WoW clones, basically. So if you have to let them know this is the indicator of a quest in Ashes of Creation. So you got to put that into the new player mindset, and you got to ingrain that in them. And it takes repeated interactions to get accustomed, not just one, repeated. So
now that you've got your snowdrop powder, take that back to Hernet, and Hernet will instruct you to now take this powder to another guy who's quite a ways out of town, but he offers you a horse for the journey. He will ask you to head over to the stable and collect your mount. Once you have it, open your inventory and put the horse on your action bar. Some quick tips about mounts in Ashes of Creation. When you summon it, it will stand next to you. You do not spawn on top of it, and you can mount and dismount your horse.
The larger fonts apparently are not as easy to implement like I thought they were. That's probably going to come in phase 2, possibly even phase 3. I am sure the UI team is very aware about this whole, you know, larger font, because I know Pirate Software asked even that question. But yeah, so I'm hoping phase 2 personally.
By pressing the F key by default. The mount comes with a sprint button for a minor speed buff, and always be sure to desummon your mount by hitting the same button while it's active. Monsters and NPCs will aggro onto your mount, and if it dies, you won't have it for 10 minutes. So don't forget to put it away. Once you have your mount, you can check out the commissions board. These are random quests that you can do around the world. I personally do not find them worth it, as you get much more experience from just grinding elite mobs, but if you like to quest, you can try to start here. Over by the building right near the commissions board is a vendor. You can repair here. You can pick up supplies like the rations that I mentioned earlier for sitting down and eating to heal faster, and you can sell off your glint for money. Glint is the primary way to make money in Ashes of Creation. Mobs and quests.
And that is another thing new players are, how do I earn money? Like, where's my copper? Like, people are asking for copper, but yeah, I don't have copper. Like, where do I earn copper? And you don't earn copper, you earn glint. And that's another mechanic of confusion for new players, because then you have to explain like, oh, well, glint's basically the thing you vendor to get gold, basically. So the fact that that's not explained to you as a new player can be frustrating, you know, but once you learn it, like, it's fine, right? But it's still, in my opinion, it's not a big pet peeve, but it's like, it could be like that kind of smaller pet peeve that could be additive. And if that was like, it could inevitably be the straw that broke the camel's back. So I don't know how they could work that in, as to explain to the new player like what glint is and what you do with it. But I think that's important for them to do, in my opinion.
Will drop a material called glint. You can drop some of your glint when you die, so if you have a lot of glint, you need to head back into town and store it in your storage, or sell it to a vendor for gold before you accidentally die and lose most of it. I would recommend that you only sell what you need to repair and buy supplies, as later you can use glint to run a caravan and make way more money than if you just sold the glint directly to a vendor. And if you do want to store it, in the south of Lionhold, you will find the storage clerk. Here you can stash away items and materials. It functions just like a bank in other games, but keep in mind that the storage in this game is not linked. If you stash things here in Lionhold, you're not going to be able to access them from another town. And now, with all of that information, you're ready to start your adventure. You should now have enough knowledge.
Thanks, Nightcloak. I appreciate that, man. A fairly simple quest with a handheld tutorial on the basic functions. Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I think, and at the very start of Ashes of Creation, there was like a thing that, you know, that pops up where it's like, hey, this is this thing, right? Like, this is how you swap weapons or whatever. I think as soon as you earn any glint from a monster, that thing should pop up and be like, hey, you just earned glint. This is what you do with it, you know, and it should basically explain to you what glint is and how important it is in this game. Like, that to me is a very simple fix. As soon as you earn glint for the first time, that little tutorial help window should pop up
to get your foot in the door. If you head north out of town, you will find hordes of goblins that can carry you up to around level 6. You can then take the stairs high into the ruins of Ayla above Lionhold and defeat the undead all the way to level 10 if you like. But if you want gear, stick to humanoids, as beasts, they won't drop any. And once you're ready to branch out, if you head west from Lionhold across the river, you'll find the Church of the Seven Stars, or to the northeast, you'll find Coralock or the Nickabrae ruins. These are excellent farming spots from around 7 to 11. But that's...
I always say Coraloach. I am the butcher of words, okay? It's just so funny. It's like, hey, we're at Coraloach. And they're like, where? Whatever that place is, dude. The Coralock place, I guess, whatever.
For now, you've got all of the knowledge you need to start your adventure. From here, find a guild, make friends. The Riverlands is a massive place with lots to see and do, and with dangers both PvP and PvE alike. It only goes up from here, but let me know if you found this guide helpful. Are there other aspects of the game you would like a deeper explanation of? Ashes has many deep and interconnected systems, and I'm really happy to explain any of it. But there's also a whole other spectrum to this: PvP. I did not mention PvP specifically in this video because if you're under level 5, you are protected from it. There's a setting in game to stop you from early ganks, but this game is very much a PvP game. So if you want to know more about it, you can watch this video. But with that, like it if you liked it, follow me on YouTube and on Twitch so you never miss a live stream. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Me personally, I think this is a great video by Roar. Why is it? Hold on real quick. There we go. Hit the thumbs up, give it a sub if you know, if you liked the video. It was a great video by Roar. Damn, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Fuck. My mind completely derailed. Well, shit. I was gonna say something Ashes related and I just totally... Oh, now I remember what I was gonna say. Being protected. So whenever you are level 5, you have to hit level 6 and that protection comes off. But me personally, I think that protection should stay with you until level 10. In my opinion, I think you should be protected until you're level 10. However, 1 out of 3 ads. Holy shit. It should only be a minute and a half, right? I have a minute and a half for 30 minutes or 3 minutes. It could probably give you 3 minutes because of the hour. I don't fucking know how Twitch works. That's just ridiculous. Let me see. I don't know. I like fighting. So here's my thing. This is what I want protection from is the people that don't want to PvP. But basically to level 5, you can't flag yourself. You can't be a combatant at all. You're just a green player. But I think at level 6, this is kind of like where my compromise is. I think if you flag as combatant, then you should be able to. But if you don't flag as combatant, you stay as green, I think you should have immunity until you're level 10. Like, that's just my opinion. Maybe level 9, because I think level 10 is a pretty big break point. So I think I would be fine with having it till level 9. Level 10, that's when all bets are off. You can, you know, now people can kill you even if you're green or whatever. But I think, again, I just want people to get their bearings, you know, like in the game first. Like that's my thing. And I think level 5 is just, it's not enough time for new players. I think for certain players it is, and that's why I want a caveat of allowing those players that want to PvP to the option to go combatant if they wanted to. But I think for a lot of PvEers, which are the vast majority of the MMO community, Ashes is going to be such a huge shift in perspective and everything. So as much time as they can to get their bearings into like their button pushing, their like, what are mobs, what are this, what are that, like I just want to give them time. So that's my thing. I just want to give those players time. And again, if you're a PvP player, you'll find PvP. You'll find it. So the people that are poo-pooing this thing of like not being like, you're not going to find PvP, it's just a bunch of bullshit. You will. You definitely will. But who wants to pick on a level 8 character? You know what I mean? Like, that's my thing. Like, you're still learning the game. You're still trying to get some gear. You're trying to, like, again, you're just trying to find your bearings at the end of the day. So,
Unreal's.
all right, here we go, guys. I wanted to watch this video. This is by Unreal Sensei. It's a 15-minute, or it's a 12-minute video. It's really, really, really good. And again, think about Ashes of Creation while watching this video, and I can guarantee you're going to be fucking mind blown, like 100%. Because I was watching this and I was just like, oh my god, this would be so good if this was in Vera. Holy shit.
Newest update, Unreal Engine 5.5, just released, and it is a big deal. The reason why is the brand new lighting system called Mega Light.
The 10 level difference idea won't work. As people are level 50, they might have to fight a level 39. No. I'm talking literally from level 1 to level 9, you have immunity. After that, the immunity goes out the window. I'm not trying to have a 10 level immunity discrepancy between the levels. Like, I'm just talking to, like, for you as a brand new player, like, if you hit level 2, level 3, level 4, like, you have, of course, immunity. But even at level 6, 7, I think you should still have immunity. But at level 6, you should have the option to flag as a combatant if you want to PvP. That's kind of my own personal compromise. Here is the FU tip. If you know you're going to lose a PvP, die in water. No one can interact with the ashes underwater. Really? Oh, they fixed that. That's interesting. Wasn't fixed last weekend. Wow.
Since the start of computer graphics, lighting has been the most important part of any 3D render or game. Physically accurate lighting can make the difference if an image is realistic or not.
The lighting in Ashes
when Unreal Engine 5 released, it introduced a lighting system called Lumen, which gave us real-time global illumination. Global illumination is bounce lighting, which is the extra light created from light rays bouncing off of surfaces. For example, if you have a room with a single light from a window, the room shouldn't be pitch black. Instead, the light from the window will bounce around and illuminate the rest of the room indirectly. And the less light we have, the less bounce lighting. Lumen was a game changer when it released, since it was real time. Before Lumen, to get bounce lighting, we had to wait for each frame to render. Now it is all instant. And while this is great, we still have an issue, and that is each light source requires a lot of processing power to render. A single light in Unreal needs to calculate the bounce lighting and shadows from the light's perspective, which is a very computationally expensive process. This means that we are limited in the amount of lights we can use. If we use too many, then our game's performance drops dramatically. This was a huge limitation until now. In UE 5.5, a new lighting system was introduced on top of Lumen called Mega Lights, which removes this constraint, allowing us to have as many lights as we want. To demonstrate, in UE5, I'm in an environment that uses hundreds of individual lights. I'm running at 5 frames per second. My computer cannot process this many lights. Now with one button press in the settings, I can enable Mega Lights, and boom, instantly my frame rate jumped from 5 frames per second to 40. And what is incredible is that I didn't have to make any changes to my environment. All I had to do was enable Mega Lights, and it worked right out of the box.
Oh my god.
This is revolutionary. It unlocks huge creative possibilities that simply was not possible before. Now we can have near infinite lights, perfect for
Yeah, Lumen is, because again, where Ashes runs on Unreal Engine 5, Lumen is the light source. So, but Lumen is also very taxing processing wise. With mega lights, we as gamers can save processing power on our end, and it can still look really fucking amazing, like in the game wise or in game wise. Like, I don't know what kind of voodoo magic they use, but man, it's
environments like the ones you see on screen. On top of that, textured area lights can now cast dynamic light rays and soft shadows. This simply was not possible beforehand. We can have realistic lighting from large dynamic area lights like TVs. Mega lights works perfectly with nanite geometry, which lets us have infinite detail and polygon counts. This means we are no longer constrained by most real-time rendering limitations. We can have as many lights or high polygon objects that we want. On top of a lighting upgrade for UE 5.5, metahumans have gotten two big new features. The face animations you see right now are not motion capture and they are not hand animated. Instead, the face animations are generated by AI with the new audio-driven animation.
Evil Limbo, thank you so much for the follow, man. What's the PvP tier list looking like for Ashes now? Mages are probably at the top. Mages are, if you're a mage with really good gear, you're critting for like 6,000 damage, 5,000 damage, easy. But there's a lot of classes. Like right now, PvP is such in a weird spot because if you're a ranger, you can actually beat a mage if you shoot first. Like whoever can get their buttons popped off, like, is usually the winner, which is kind of shitty in my opinion. But I mean, I don't know. Like, it also depends on the gear, you know, it's just a lot of different things.
Feature. All I did was upload the audio of myself talking, and Unreal automatically created the lip sync for me. There was no camera needed for my face, but of course the rest of my body is still motion capture. You can imagine this will be helpful in a game with a lot of dialogue. In addition to that, we now have the option to use optimized metahumans.
What about fighters? I play a fighter. I love my fighter, by the way. I think when it comes to PvP, it's... I can't really speak because I haven't done a lot of PvP on my fighter. Like for myself, I've been doing a lot of PvE. But the couple of skirmishes that I've had, I feel like we are not good against range. Dude, range can destroy me. Like I went up against a ranger, I got owned. Like by the time I heroic leaped, by the time I blitzed, it was just like I had nothing left. So yeah, the mage shield sucks. You know, like, so I feel like fighters are kind of in a kind of a bad spot. I think honestly the range kind of have it there as far as rangers and mages go. Hell, even a bard can probably beat a fighter right now. So I feel like bard is, I mean, again, it's my class. I do love the fighter, but you know,
which are a lot less computationally intensive and take up less memory than the default metahumans. If you have tried metahumans before, you know that they take up a lot of disk space. The average metahuman is 950 megabytes, which is almost an entire gigabyte needed for each person, since it uses a lot of AK textures and complex skeletal meshes.
This doesn't really like the metahuman stuff because I believe Ashes isn't using metahumans from Unreal. I think they're using their own proprietary stuff, so I'm going to kind of skip it. But this next feature is what I want you guys to pay attention to.
Unreal Sky system has been improved dramatically. By default, Unreal comes with a set of volumetric clouds, which means they are real clouds that exist in the environment. You can fly around them and they realistically interact with the lighting. Before volumetric clouds, to create a sky, we were forced to use a skybox, which is a massive box or sphere that surrounds the entire world with a sky texture on it. This was able to get the job done for most environments, but as soon as we have a dynamic sun that changes time and position, it becomes obvious that the sky is a static texture. This is why in recent years, games have introduced dynamic skies with volumetric clouds that are physical objects in the environment. They realistically interact with the world and the lighting like any other object. The best example of this was in Red Dead Redemption, which has a full time of day and weather system. Every cloud you see are 3D renders. None of them are textures. The last version of Unreal Engine 4 introduced volumetric clouds and the atmosphere system. This made creating realistic skylighting a breeze since it physically simulates the Earth's atmosphere and engine. All you have to do is drag it into your world and you immediately get real sky. Moving the sun will change the atmosphere's light dispersion, automatically updating the color. In fact, when using it, if you move the camera far enough away, you can see it simulating the atmosphere of an entire planet. The only issue, in my opinion, was that the default clouds it came with looked terrible. They feel like big lobby mushrooms and less like something you would see out in the real world. Now the clouds have been updated. Here is before and here is after. The clouds look a lot better. And we have
and I think it's because they're not on 5.5. Like I still think they're probably on 5.3. I don't know if they're on 5.4. Maybe I can ask, I can reach out to Steven if they're on the 5.4 client. But dude, look at that difference. Like 5.4, this is what Ashes looks like. This is the exact kind of sky that I see in Ashes in daytime, like in Ashes.
This been updated. Here is before and here is after. The clouds look a lot better.
Huge difference.
And we have more control over them than ever before. There's a slider to change the amount of clouds, and we can transition the sky to become a chaotic storm. Another improvement to the sky is a built-in time of day sequence. Real-time day transitions are pretty common in a lot of games. If we wanted one in Unreal, we had to either buy one from the marketplace or create our own. In the past, I programmed a time of day system from scratch, and it could get pretty complicated fast.
Yes. And I think that's their current issue with their day and night cycle. But with this,
now UE5 has a built-in time of day that we can easily control from the toolbar. The daytime is able to transition to night with the sunsets, and the moon and stars become the main source of light at nighttime. All of its properties are handled by the timeline, so we have complete control and we can animate it. There is a really great feature called vertex painting.
And the thing too is like there's some transitions when it goes from dawn that, oh my God, like I was in a certain spot and it was like, it went super dark. And then it was like, wait, dawn's coming. And it's just like, wait, what? It was the entire going from nighttime to dawn to daytime is just a weird contrast. And again, it's probably because if you look at all that code needed to do that, it's a lot, you know what I mean? But now if they were to upgrade to 5.5, it's all done for them. And it's like a seamless transition, you know what I mean? So,
which lets us paint on meshes and blend between different materials.
But this is also good for terrain.
It gave us a lot of creative control in the editor, but it stopped working on nanite meshes. 5.5 introduces the new nanite mesh painting, which brings back the same feature for material blending, and it works perfectly with nanite displacement. You can see the geometry changing in real time. Thousands of polygons are being generated automatically.
And this would be fucking cool because if you think about it, what is people's complaint about Ashes of Creation? It looks new, right? Like when you go and look at the world, it's like, I don't believe this world has been here for eons. Like there's no degradation. There's like, it looks too like brand new. But with this tool, you can just shave off like certain things here and there, make it look dilapidated, make it look cut, make it look this. Like this alone would actually make stuff look weathered, make it look broken very easily from a level perspective, like a level design perspective, I should say. So, dude, this would be huge for the animators and the landscapers in Intrepid. Huge.
With this, we have complete control over the nanite geometry of our environment, and it opens up new 3D workflows. There is no sponsor for this video, but if you like it, make sure to subscribe for more Unreal Engine videos in the future. It would mean a lot because the channel is almost at 500,000 subscribers.
The broken bricks.
In the last version of Unreal Engine 5.4, it introduced the motion design editor to make the process of creating animations easier. It was specifically made to help users of other programs like After Effects or Cinema 4D to modify it quickly. There has been general improvements to lumen lighting across the board this update. Hardware ray tracing is now significantly faster, with a goal of achieving 60 frames per second on current gen consoles. Global illumination now supports hit lighting, which produces more physically accurate bounce lighting. My favorite feature is a new noise reduction algorithm for reflective surfaces. Previously, when it came to metal surfaces, the reflections can look really noisy. Now in UE 5.5, that noise has been almost...
And there is some noise in Carfin. Like I remember seeing that kind of like pixelated, like I'm like, what the hell is that? Like what is that? And I thought it was my computer at first, but when I saw this video, it's like, oh, that could actually be like the game textures doing this shit. So this is another, like, if there's all these different render improvements for lighting, because again, lighting is a huge deal. In Coralock, we all know that fireplace that burns like the fucking sun. And there's another fireplace that doesn't even put off that much light. So it's like, there's just so many lighting things that just need work, you know, especially in Carfin, in my opinion.
Completely removed. Every new version of Unreal is a huge leap forward for graphics. Unreal's animation tool, called Sequencer, got some upgrades. In case you don't know, Sequencer is UE5's timeline, which is where we create and keyframe all of our animations. Now we have access to advanced deformers like lattices, which are featured heavily in other animation programs like Blender. With these deformers, we can morph the geometry in real time.
Yeah.
For example, moving any of these points will change.
I mean, I don't want to watch the rest of the thing, but dude, honestly, like, go like this video. If you're not subscribed to him, I'm subscribed to him because I want to see the different things of Unreal, and especially because Ashes is doing, you know, Unreal Engine. Like, I want to see like the kind of updates that they could potentially move on to. 3 ads, like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't change anything. It should only be, yeah, it's only a minute and a half. I think they're putting more ads within the minute and a half ad thing. But yeah, either way, there's that. Well, I didn't want to be too long. I wasn't really planning on streaming for too long, but I'll just chat for a little bit. Put on the music real quick. Twitch Turbo problem solved. Yeah. But again, guys, I really just want to thank you guys again. Very surreal day. Lot of good things. I can't wait for the future. Some of the videos that I have planned in the pipe are going to be really cool, really exciting. But I couldn't have done it without you guys. I really appreciate the support. I really appreciate the viewership from all of you guys. I just want to thank you. It's been a crazy journey so far, but either way, I'm gonna probably just dip out. It's kind of late for me, so let's see who I can raid. Is there anybody in the Ashes community currently streaming? There has to be, right? I see. Oh, Willie's streaming. He's streaming New World. Let's go raid Willie. Dude, Willie is such a fun dude to watch. He's hilarious. All right, guys. Have a great night. Thank y'all so much. I'll see you guys next time.